Hey guys, look, I just wanted to tap in really quick. I just got this feeling, man, that this summer is, it's about to be a white boy summer. You know, take it how you want. I'm not talking about like Trump, NASCAR type white. I'm talking about, me, John B., Jack Harlow type white boy summer. You know what I mean? Let me know if you guys can vibe with that and get ready, because I am.
I'm not talking Donald Trump, NASCAR white. I'm talking me, John B., Jack Harlow.
Who is John B?
You know John B. He's that R&B singer from fucking 90s who was like white but dark hair.
Sing a song.
John B. He's what was his biggest song? I'm about to sing it for you. It's a bit too sexual. It's all man them here.
That's where you draw the line.
Yeah, it's all man them here, and then we need to relax. She's got into my head, this Letty girl with the intro shit.
Hey, leave that in.
I thought I was doing sufficient enough intros, and now people are fucking
Shout out Letty.
coming out of the
Shout out
woodworks.
Letty.
Friend of the show.
Fucking hell, bruv.
Yes, long time listener.
This could end terribly. Episode 16, mother. Fathers. Nah, she's really in my head.
My name is Richard Abiadidi.
Nah,
and
for
my
real,
role-
for real. This
Good.
And
terribly. Episode 16.
Mm-hmm.
With your boys. A to the B-I. A to the D-E. Man like JV. And man like Tommy.
back again.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I gave up rapping. You hear that freestyle?
Yeah, no, we had to listen to that.
Yeah. Anyway, this could end terribly. Episode 16. You know what it is, and if you don't, let me tell you, because apparently I got to do that more.
It's a bi-weekly podcast.
How would you even describe us?
The current events.
Fortnightly current affairs podcast, the intersection between culture, travel, fashion, music, news, finance, stuff.
It's the
Things.
range.
The range. We are here every fortnight, mostly Tuesdays. We are here on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud shout out, YouTube if you're nasty.
Jeez.
Soon to be all other outlets. But more on that later. Not necessarily today. Gentlemen, what are you saying?
What's
How
good?
are you?
What's good? What are you saying, Tommy?
Very good. Glad to be back. Back again.
Yeah.
Quoting my
Back
favorite
again.
on AFTV.
We're doing it
guy.
again.
We're doing it again. Literally tried to stop us. But we're doing it again.
So Tommy came and did last time's episode.
Yes.
And then left crib, and we released the episode, and I didn't hear anything from him. Don't know how he felt about it. Don't know how he felt about recording. How it turned out for him. Did he listen to it? We don't know.
I've actually not chatted to man.
We don't know.
Yeah.
I thought
So-
I gave a pretty good summation upon my exit on the interview, on the pod.
But you hadn't
No, but I had
heard
a
the
lot of
final
fun.
product.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I thought it was good. I'm back again
Yeah.
for that very reason. Good. How are you boys? How are you, Johnny?
Yeah, getting on with it, man. Shit. It's been.
I know this is going to be a dangerous podcast.
I
When
reckon.
Johnny turns up with a trim like that, he's going to be on one today.
Ooh, look
He's
up
going
your
to be
daughters.
on one.
Look
Looking
up
fresh.
your daughters.
Not only with the short back and side, but man's turned up with eyebrows this week. Come on. Harley Street's finest.
Shout out.
Get to know. Karen Betts Professional. If you want your face torn up, she's
Hug.
the woman to go to.
Is that right?
Run us through the process.
But RT, I have to give immense credit to the women that do this voluntarily. Because this microblading shit, it is not fun. It is not fun.
What is it?
So you walk in there and they give you like a little cream for, what do they call it?
Anesthetic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anesthetic on your eyebrows. So you sit there for half an hour, 20 minutes, chatting some shit. And then you get taken in. And it's basically like a tattoo. But it's kind of done with a knife, I guess, because it's, I don't know, they've got to get it under the skin so that it grows through. Anyway, even with the anesthetic, you can feel this fucking sharp shit scratching at your eyebrows. It fucking hurts.
Yikes.
So I've not really got a choice. I'm sick and tired of people asking me why I don't have eyebrows.
Does that happen a lot? People
used-
just ask.
People just be like, what happened to your face? And I'm like, pa.
I thought it was more. Why'd you look so surprised?
Where do I start?
So I'd like shout out to the women who do this shit voluntarily because that's a high pain threshold. I feel like I now know what it's like to give birth.
Does it stimulate
really?
growth? Is it meant to stimulate growth of the hair or something? The follicles?
No, it's a tattoo, basically.
How long does it last?
So it's meant to last 8 to 10 months, roughly.
Nice.
8 to 12 months. But you can go back for like touch-ups or whatever. Some people's skin reacts differently. Some people take to it better. I don't take to it particularly well. I'm quite a sensitive guy.
Were there any baddies in the waiting room?
There were not, no. They are extremely professional, but certainly middle-aged women from somewhere near Darlington.
Oh, okay.
Very good, though. Karen Betts. Not cheap,
Okay.
but very good.
Okay.
I recommend it for... Seeing as we've got so many female listeners, according to Spotify demographics, go and get your faces fixed.
Man,
innit?
fucking arrive, will you? Fucking hell. What you been on, Tommy?
Alhamdulillah. All good. Voted yesterday.
Hey!
That went.
Dare we ask which way?
I
Sean's
voted a
boy.
variety of different ways. No. I can't be rewarding bad candidates or bad campaigns. Let's say.
Well, maybe the worst campaign. We'll come back to
The
this.
thing is, for me, I've been away for so long, like obviously with the Dubai thing, that I haven't voted in a while.
Yeah.
So it felt quite nice.
When was
that,
the last time you voted?
2000. So I can postal vote. So I did the postal voted for Brexit and stuff like that.
Okay.
But
Postal voted for Brexit.
well, not for Brexit, but for the referendum.
Gotta be careful with your phrasing.
Yeah, exactly, it's true. But for an actual general local election, I haven't voted in one of those in
Your boy,
person.
it must be your boy Dave, no?
My boy Dave, yeah. My boy
Local
Dave.
resident.
Yeah. My neighbour.
Yes.
Another reason why West London needs more representation.
If ever there was a reason to represent West London less, it would be for homing David Cameron.
Yeah.
Well, Dave fits into our neck of the woods because I don't know if you've seen the size of his forehead.
Is that man?
But fits just right in with me and Abdi.
The home of moody hairlines,
Yeah.
West London. That's what's up.
We're Labrador Grove, Latimer. Stand up.
What are you saying, Rich?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I went to the office this week for the first time in 14 months. So that was strange. Forgot where everything was in the pantry.
Is it still stocked?
It's still stocked.
That's what's up.
They're doing like some nicer things as well, like
Okay.
proper breakfast, proper lunch. Don't really need to leave the office, but you should.
But don't
Good.
just
That's that
just
new
give us your
management
surplus
talk.
labour
Yeah, you know
constantly.
exactly. Tommy knows. Yeah, no, it was good. Like seeing people was great. Like, I realized how shacked up I've been for the last 14 months, and being in a comfortable chair for the first time properly in 14 months has made all the difference. Although my spine is a bit reinforced now, having been on a shit chair.
What's
for
the name of the
14
booze
months
around the
anyway.
corner? The one downstairs.
Sugarloaf.
Yes, hit that one up.
Yeah, they've got all the outdoor seating now.
No
so
way.
That situation's all a bit better.
There's
I
never
didn't go
been
there.
outdoor sitting at that pub.
Yeah, no, we went to the Vinoteca after work one of
well,
these days this week, which was all right. But
Bull
not
market.
been to the. That was empty though. It was pretty dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and as I said last time, and it's still not really quite like drink outside weather.
Yeah.
Right? So you can still book up a few places.
You're looking
right
forward
now.
to getting back into the office? Like,
Yeah,
one,
I'm not
one,
gonna-
one time enough.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Like I kind of have to be in like a few days a week now.
Senior man, it is what it is, isn't it? Certain man are local, certain man are.
Try man.
Global.
There you go.
I'm looking forward to that, to be honest. The commute is nice. Like just getting out of the house in the morning, having a routine is better.
Thing about being in the office is that you can actually just waste a lot more time.
Yeah, I wish I
People
had
to chat to,
I
coffee
wish I had that
machines to
luxury.
rinse,
Yeah.
toilet breaks to take, toilet roll to steal.
Yeah.
Whereas at home, you can't steal your own
No,
Andrex.
it would be
That's
counterproductive.
jarring.
Yeah,
And then what do you have to do? Like talk to your other half. Miss
Yeah.
me with that.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's either like
We'll talk about that a bit more later.
yeah,
as
quite
well.
right. Either like do work or do the laundry. I don't like either of those things.
Nah, for real.
So get me back in the office so I can,
real.
do fuck all. That's what's up.
For real. But no, it's good. It's good to be back. It's good to be back there on the subject of voting. I voted as well. I'm pretty sure I
Also for sure, Bailey.
not for Sean Bailey. No, he reminds me of Trevor Nelson.
Wow, that's
He does look like Trevor Nelson a little bit.
Yeah, when I see him, I see Trevor Nelson. Start thinking about MTV Base and all those student union nights where he would come and Westwood would come and all that stuff.
Trevor Nelson's wannabe
also reminds
Cockney
me-
accent is marginally more convincing
Yeah.
than Sean Bailey's. To be
Sean
fair.
Bailey also reminds me of like Derek that posh geezer from Big Brother. Do you remember the black
Oh
posh
my
geezer,
days.
Derek?
The geezer who couldn't spell.
Yeah, just like
He had a
bald.
list.
He loved
Well,
cider. That was it. He was a cider geezer.
just like bald, dark-skinned guys all just look the same to me. But I didn't. I didn't vote for him. When are those results coming out, by the way?
Sunday, apparently.
Okay, cool. So I don't think he's going to win that. But one of my friends...
Apparently, he's a lot closer than
Yeah, but he's
people realise.
definitely
Not
not
surprised.
winning.
Not
He's
surprised.
definitely not winning, though.
Not surprised it's closer, but I'll be surprised
Low
if he takes
voter
it.
engagement, Labour's problem across the country. I didn't vote.
Yeah, and we're gonna. You didn't vote. You
didn't
All right,
vote.
we'll get onto that in a sec.
First time in
Excellent.
years.
Wow.
First time in
Wow,
years.
that's
is
huge.
surprising.
Especially
Wow,
for
all
someone
right.
like you.
Oh shit, we're here to fucking pod today.
That's what's up.
But yeah, no. One of my friends sent me a message, and he was like, "Are you voting today?" I was like, "Yes, yes," and he was like, "Cool." When this particular mate like messages me to talk about politics or to like hint about politics, it always turns into a long, full blown like debate / argument. But this time he was like, "Yeah, I actually think I'm for the first time in my life gonna vote Tory." I was like,
Ooh.
So you're voting for Sean Bailey?" And he was like, yeah. And I was like,
He hit 34 and turned racist.
I was like, and yeah, he's like a black guy from Catford. And I was like, all right, so why? And he gave me all these reasons, you know, extortionate charges this, and I read manifestos that, and da-da-da. And I was just like, manifestos? Like, I mean, what's that got to do with what actually happens once they come in? I know it's an obvious indicator of what their intentions are, but like, what does that even fucking mean? Like, what do you like about this guy? And he was like, oh yeah, and by the way, like, narrowed it down to two things. He's like, basically, ULEZ, so congestion charge and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then he was like, yeah, and my dad like used to work for Sadiq Khan, and he didn't like him that much, so I'm voting for Sean. I was like, that's not a reason.
That's
is
the
it?
best reason. He's saying the guy's a prick. Basically, my dad used to work for him, and he's a dickhead.
I like my mates to eat during the hours of sunlight, right?
Yeah.
And like, given this Ramading Dong, I don't want my mayor being hungry because he might hit the nuclear button, and I don't
Yeah.
think he's trustworthy.
And then he said that his second choice is that Nico lad.
Yes. NDL, fam. NDL.
And I was like, my friend, this is a low point for you.
I think this guy's actually going to do probably quite a bit better than he's
He's going to get his money
bargained
back.
for.
He's definitely getting his money
I hope
back.
he
He's
does get
definitely
his
getting
money
his 10
back.
G's back.
Yeah. His
Is that how much?
manifesto's
Is that
actually-
all it takes to jump in?
Yeah, 10 G's and I think a couple of criteria about age and things like this. But
No way.
then you're good. And then I think the number's 5%. No, or 1%, something like that. If you
But the
garner,
thing is, it's 5% for constituency races, like in a general election.
It's either 1 or 5%. So if you garner either 1 or 5% in the vote, then you get your like money back, basically.
I was,
your deposit.
Yeah, I was
That's
like
100,000
reading into this,
people in
brother.
London. Fair play.
I found his manifesto very, very cheesy, corny, like not funny at all, really. But
You
he's
weren't
like,
here for the vibes.
no, I wasn't there for the vibes, and that's what my friend said. He was like, I voted for him for the vibes,
It's not like
for the vibes.
not like you to be fucking
Shout out to
boring,
buddy.
Rich.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. But no, it's just like, I didn't get it. But he's got like 3.6 something million subscribers on YouTube. So if
Holy
that shit
shit.
translates to voters, fucking hell, bruv.
It was just a big piss take.
He might be the dark horse, isn't it?
Slightly.
He could easily come second. He could easily come third.
Yeah.
That would be such bants for the Lib Dems.
Yeah, and the Greens,
And the Greens.
and the new UKIP guys, and any
Well, and
other.
this Brian Rose geezer, this fucking weirdo who tells everyone that he's a banker and he's actually a CDS broker at ICAP. There's the video of him drinking piss on the trading floor.
Oh, wow.
He's fucking weird bloke.
Brokers are strange. But we can't run away from the humdinger you just dropped, Johnny. Like, why didn't you vote? What the fuck?
Boy, how long have I got? I mean, okay, so I'm eating a fair amount of shit recently for being happy Corbyn left and Starmer came in.
Yeah.
So I'm still happy Corbyn left because he was ultimately unelectable, and 2019 proved that.
Yep.
Clearly, the Starmer experiment has failed. It's failed for a few different
too
reasons.
early, bruv.
I
But
don't- I'm not sure it is
not-
too
Wait, if we're interjecting, can I just ask a question as to what you just said earlier? Mm-hmm. Did Corbyn fail, or was Corbyn unelectable, or were his policies unelectable?
I think Corbyn personally was unelectable, and this is the point that I'm going to get into. If you, during canvassing, before the election and after the election, actually a lot of what Corbyn promised, or what Labour Party promised under Corbyn's leadership, very popular. Universal broadband, increased worker protections, jobs guarantees, greater spending on the NHS and policing, etc., etc. All these things vastly, overwhelmingly popular. Many of them related to be adopted by the Conservatives and will subsequently be adopted by the Conservatives in this post-pandemic spending binge that we're about to go on. Greater than anything that Corbyn had planned in the first place. something I've been kind of mulling over a lot, and I guess writing a bit about on Twitter, is that where Starmer has failed is that, for better or worse, modern politics has become about selling a story, selling a vision, selling an image. And right-wing politics has become dominant over the last 5 to 10 years in the wake of the 2008 recession, the collapse of neoliberal economic ideology, has sold a story of a greater past. And that has manifested itself through nationalist movements, national identities, harking back to a better time, et cetera, et cetera. And Corbyn, to his credit, did capture the essence of that. Now, he translated it in a different sense. It wasn't like, let's keep Britain white and keep all these immigrants out and build high fences and go back to a world where we was ruling the seas like the Tories did, kind of thing. But, you know, he kind of harked back to post-World War II reconstruction, 50s era NHS building, mass social welfare programs to lift the country out of poverty as it was. And that storytelling was what got him votes. So to answer your point, was Corbyn or his policies unelectable? Corbyn himself was unelectable. And I still maintain that because there are various examples of him in interviews with Christian Guru Murthy getting super angry. I think he had very poor temperamental control. He wasn't particularly good in PMQs. This guy's not a good politician.
Public speaking,
that was not a good politician.
Yeah.
He just wasn't a good... he didn't have the schmooze of the charm, right? But he did come up with a story and that was seductive. And now Starmer's Labour Party, in its entire purge, not only of Corbyn, but of his supporter base, has shown poor politics by effectively jettisoning the campaigner base of the party, the activist base of the party, the organisers who go out and canvass, but has removed this story, this Labour image, this ideology of participation. And Tommy and I are two people debate politics a lot. We're both, I think, fundamentally pragmatists in politics. We've always kind of prided ourselves on that. But actually, as I get older, it does become more and more obvious to me that it's not pragmatism that engenders engagement. It's idealism.
Bro, Johnny's going Tory.
It's people that sell the story that get people out to the streets.
He's going Tory.
I'm absolutely not going Tory. Absolutely not going Tory.
Mark this down, episode 16.
Didn't take
The
long.
wheels are falling off.
My point is that Starmer has failed to sell an image of the country.
Yeah.
He has not enthused people. He has not excited anyone. Nobody's been out canvassing. Nobody's been out campaigning for him because he has given nothing for people to be excited by. He spent the last 2 years saying, I'm not Jez. Apart from being very underwhelming in opposition, he's given nothing for people to jump onto, to be a part of. Politics has become a participatory sport. We're very tribal. We join our team and we root for it. But if your team's not performing, then what is there to jump on? And that's part of why I wasn't enthused to vote for Labour. I did it in 2019. I voted against my better will. I didn't want to support Jez, but I voted for Labour because I believed that a Labour government would still be better than a Conservative one. And I still believe that to be the right choice post-2019. Was I enthused enough by Labour to get out and vote for Sadiq Khan? No, I wasn't.
But you went and voted for Jeremy Corbyn when he was embroiled in all the anti-Semitism stuff, despite your better judgment, as you said. But this is just a boring guy with no personality who hasn't buoyed the Labour Party or the Labour Party supporters, and you just didn't feel it.
So I voted for David Lammy. That's how first past the post system works.
Yeah.
So you did vote?
Voted in 2019.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I voted for David Lammy. Didn't vote for Jez. Voted for David Lammy. That's how I justify it to myself.
Okay.
But I was still enthused enough by what that Labour government could deliver.
Yeah.
Sure, I wasn't happy about having a bloke who's friends with Hamas.
So it's a combination of things in this case. 100%,
but I did it was very clear that the Conservatives were the greater evil, still are the greater evil. Mm-hmm. And something that I guess Tommy alluded to, really what is the power of the mayor within London? It's not enormous.
Agreed.
It's not enormous.
Agreed.
Symbolic. Yeah, I would obviously rather have Sadiq Khan than Sean Bailey. But I think it's important to send a message that Labour in its current form will lose every election that comes. It needs to do better at engaging with people meaningfully. And not just we need to reconnect with the working classes and this infantilization of voters outside of London. It really needs to understand that it's lost.
I think you made a lot of points that are difficult to argue against. I think politics has always been about selling a story, selling a vision, right? It's always been that case. And I think it's easier now selling that vision, and people's attention, easier because of technology, and people's attention spans are shorter. So you're constantly looking for that kind of 10-word, one-sentence message, right? Build back better. get Brexit done or whatever it is.
Take back
right?
control.
Take back control. You're looking for catchphrases or a statement. It's the same as when you're doing branding, any kind of marketing, right?
Sure.
Whether it's political marketing or you're marketing consumer goods.
Sure.
So that's where essentially the Labour Party failed. But I think it's more fundamental than that with Keir Starmer, because the reason I asked you to clarify about Corbyn is I think the man was unelectable, became essentially toxic for a variety of reasons, including, you know, the national press. But his policies largely were popular.
Agreed.
Right? So when Starmer ran, he ran as Corbyn light, basically. I'm going to take all of his policies, but I'm just the electable face.
I'm not him.
Yeah, I'm the electable face. I'm professional, I am electable, and all the rest of
Inquisitive QC holding the Tories to account.
And we talked about this when
Sure.
I think we both had quite a lot of optimism when he was.
Yeah, I think most did,
when he
yeah.
won.
Yeah.
And it made sense, right? Because you're thinking, okay, they're going to put that kind of Tony Blair gloss over Jeremy Corbyn policies.
Correct.
Right? So, and that's a winning formula.
Should be.
Right. In theory, exactly. But what we've learned is the shtick of professionalism and electability is clearly not true.
There's
right?
no gloss.
There's no gloss, right? There's no vision. There's no story. We haven't. I mean, you mentioned losing future elections, but if you think about it, the Labour Party has won 3 out of the last 11 elections, right? So 3 Tony Blair victories.
That's it.
And that's it.
This has been the bar. It's been lose, 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 Blair, 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 lose, 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 lose.
Yeah. So it's easy to say that now, right?
Yes.
But if you remember in 2010 when Cameron was cobbling together a coalition, the chat after 3 Labour governments and 3 Labour elections is we'll never see a Tory government ever again. That was the popular opinion, right? The demographics have changed and this and the red wall and blah, blah, blah. We'll never see a Conservative government again. And we're going to be veering towards a more kind of European coalition style governing. And the Tories after that have won every election, basically. So
They play that game very well, man.
it's a messaging game. It's a messaging game, and Keir Starmer is someone who is similar to Sadiq Khan, uninspiring.
So as much as it is messaging, there is also a lack of substance. So Rich, someone who is interested, engaged in politics to a less like ridiculously sad and nerdy extent as Tommy and I, but still very much engaged, active and cares.
Yeah.
What would you say is Keir Starmer's keynote policy at the moment?
Try not to be offensive to anything the Tories say.
Fair, but genuinely,
No,
name 3 things that he said he's going to get done.
I couldn't. My view of Keir Starmer is he went in with a mandate to just steady the boat, and that's unfortunately equated to minimal impact, minimal policy, minimal engagement,
Well, he's
and
ended
minimal
up-
opposition.
A still boat in the ocean full of people ends up with sharks swimming around.
There
it,
you
and
go.
that- and that's what's
That's
happened.
exactly it, yeah.
The problem is, as much as there has been bad messaging and faulty opposition, there is no policy base. There is no policy base. If Starmer had come out in this election and said the people of Hartlepool all over the councils were bleeding votes, this Labour Party stands for a jobs guarantee. This Labour Party stands for a national living wage.
Yeah.
This Labour Party stands for increased worker protections. This Labour Party stands for increased unionisation rights for nurses. This Labour Party stands for greater spending on healthcare, police, social welfare, etc. Those are key messages that are very simple to get out. People would support. We couldn't even do that.
I don't think you need to be that specific, right? As we know, come leading up to in the wilderness when you're in the opposition. Generally speaking, you try not to be specific when it comes to policies, right? Until the last 18 months of a run up to a general election, right? So you don't necessarily need to point policies where you're going to turn people off. But what you need to do is have that larger vision for the country, right?
Yeah, there's no strategy,
That's
exactly.
that's the messaging that we're talking about, right?
Sure.
It doesn't matter. Your policy almost doesn't matter, right? But the policy is like the tactic, right? We need to hear the strategy,
Sure.
right? We need to see the big picture. What is it that you're trying to achieve?
Yeah.
And I mean, even for someone with his experience, surely just a bait law and order message would be somewhere to start, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even getting that done has been difficult.
And if you've been hearing a lot about Hartlepool in the last 24 hours or in the last few days by the time you get this. Johnny just mentioned it. Hartlepool to me, by the way, whenever I think about Hartlepool, I just think about soccer. Jeff Stelling, one of the single greatest personalities on
Anyway,
television
national treasure
ever.
Yeah.
Right, I put him next to Jon Snow.
I cried with
Shout
him.
out.
I cried with him when they went down
Oh, man,
live on Soccer Saturday.
I feel you. I feel you.
Heartbreak.
Yeah, I place him next to Jon Snow. Shout out Jon Snow,
Shout
by
out
the way,
Jon Snow
who is on his,
retiring.
who's retiring. We got to get that in there.
End of an era.
Yeah, 100%.
King among men.
Yeah, 100%.
We'll come back to this topic, but also definitely part of the White Boy Summer crew.
Yes.
Oh shit, that's it.
Big facts.
That's disgusting.
Also, your question to Abiy Adi was also pretty unfair because the Labour candidate for Hartlepool was asked the very same question you
and
asked.
didn't know the
couldn't
answer. Yeah, of
It
course.
was like, tell me what Keir Starmer's vision for the country is.
Shit, that's bad.
Then
But
you
yeah.
waffle and nothing that differentiates what you say to any other politician. Right? Oh, we want
Yeah,
good
it's
schools
crazy.
and we want education and good healthcare.
So-
That's
To put
crazy.
into
But
context-
the reason why I brought up, sorry, Johnny, the reason why I brought up Hartlepool, if you've been hearing Hartlepool a lot, it's because Labour suffered a humiliating by-election defeat in Hartlepool, which is
Embarrassing.
the first time they've lost that in 62 years.
Since it's been a constituency.
Now, a lot of people don't necessarily understand the significance, region to region, city to city, in results quite like this. And maybe you want to break down why this is significant and what that means.
So for a few different reasons, I think out of the last 100 by-elections, going over fuck knows how many years, only 5 have been won by the party in government.
The incumbent party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only 5 out of 100 have been won or flipped.
Yeah.
We've lost to a party that's killed 130,000 people whilst giving moody contracts to the tunes of billions of pounds to its mates, as well as having its friends cover the cost of the wallpaper.
Yeah.
Tactically, regionally speaking, the very idea that the Northeast, the region that was decimated by the Conservatives in the 80s, would vote for the Tories over Labour is absolutely bonkers. But it does speak to, one, Labour's lack of strategy around and following Brexit, and two, just how apathetic people are to the Labour Party. And the reason I make that apathetic point in particular is if you look at the Conservative vote for Hartlepool as a seat over the last 3 or 4 elections, it ranges somewhere between 12 to 18,000, which is about what they got this time, about 18,000, about 12, 16, 15,000. In contrast to Labour's, generally speaking, 16, 17,000, which normally wins.
Yeah.
Now, last time there was a high participation because there was the added Brexit party. And people this time were saying, well, where are those Brexit party votes going to go? Da-da-da. Now, what happened this time was the Conservatives again got 18,000, very much in line with its consistent tracking. Labour went from about 16,000 to 8,000.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean about the danger of not having a vision, not having an image, being overly
people like
pragmatic.
Johnny Viva sit it out.
People being overly pragmatic and not being idealistic means people don't engage.
Yeah.
And when people don't turn up, you don't win elections.
I think also another thing that's worth pointing out is there's something to be said about taking seats for granted, right?
Yeah.
So
Correct.
a lot of this is safe seats versus marginal seats, right? And the same reason that I think it's foolish for any group to constantly vote for the same party is because you'll be taken for granted, right?
Correct.
You have no leverage. So it's clear that that seat was so safe for so long that no work went into it. And then comes a couple of upstart Conservatives who win a couple of sporadic seats, and then in conjunction with central government are able to get new investment
Of
and get
course.
things done,
And
basically.
this is what's gonna
and then it spreads, right? It spreads. People become infected with the idea that actually maybe having my local representative being in the same party as central government is
Correct.
useful. Now, there have been some allegations of sleaze, right? With our guy Rishi and his budget and how that money was appropriated towards kind of towards the red wall seats that
Correct.
Conservatives won, basically. But I also think that kind of sleaze chat is misguided. Or
It's naive.
It's not even just naive. It's misguided. It's deceptive, basically. Because ultimately, any government or anyone trying to win an election is constantly going to concentrate on marginal seats,
Correct.
right? So if I have an opportunity to win a marginal seat, that's where my resources are going to go, as opposed to doubling down on a seat that I'm already going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, there are literally MPs or candidates who put on their campaign leaflet that, you know, if you've got a Conservative council or Conservative member here, then it's going to increase our chances of getting funding from central government. But to kind of wrap this up,
Yeah.
on the point that you made about safe seats and not putting enough effort, not putting enough attention, I think it's somewhere around Liverpool, which is like clearly the most fucking anti-Thatcher, anti-Conservative part of the country. Labour either have lost or are at significant risk of losing councils to the Green Party.
It's mad.
Can you imagine? So they're never going to vote for the Tories, but people are so apathetic with Labour, they've voted Green.
And rightly so.
Yeah, and it's Labour's fault. And it all comes back to the root problem, which is that Labour have failed to inspire, failed to engage, and by purging the activists, by binning the nerds, they've suddenly realised they can't pass exams.
I think before we move on from the politics as well, it's probably worth also talking about Scotland a little bit, given that we could be facing another
Second referendum.
Another
So
referendum
I
on
mean,
independence.
we'll know by the time it comes out.
Only
nothing's
if you
come
do
out
this.
yet.
Only if you do this segment in Scottish accents all the way through.
All right, I'll do it.
Nah, I haven't got that.
You've not
kind of skill.
As long as Johnny does it.
You've not got the bottle, son.
Let's see how long we can do this. Let's see how long we can do
You've
this.
not found it.
I'm
So-
mad excited.
All right, so the problem, again, it's a wider problem that Labour have had in the country, and that they have to outperform in England because they've lost so many votes to the SNP in Scotland, right?
Oh my god.
But jokes aside, it is a problem that Labour have lost to the SNP up north. They'll likely never get these seats back. And if there is a majority in Holyrood, then it does give credence to a second referendum, the end of the Union. And given how much these people fucking hate Boris, it's no small chance that it can happen. I wrote last night before I went to bed that I think we'll lose Hartlepool and the SNP will get a majority in Scotland. And I think it will come through. They've won a couple key swing seats off the Conservatives.
majority.
Bro,
I think they'll get a
majority themselves.
Nah,
I think they'll get-
No, we need to.
Yeah,
No,
it's
we
true.
need. No, come on, Johnny. That was.
Thank you very
wow.
much. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Please carry on.
I can. So, I mean, I said what I had to say. I think they will come away, and I think it's going to increase pressure on Boris quite
Do
significantly.
you reckon we'll have a referendum in the next 2 years?
I don't think you can avoid it. I don't think you can, if there's a majority in Holyrood, I don't think you can avoid it. The only caveat will be if
What majority? Are you talking about
An SNP outright.
SNP outright majority,
Correct.
or you're talking about a majority for independence?
if there's an SNP majority, you cannot avoid it. If it's SNP and Green gets you over 56 seats in Holyrood, then you can
You're
work
too
your way
good
out
at
of it.
this. You're too fucking good at this.
But I'm worried. Having seen that they've taken a couple. So they had to win 9 swing seats off the Tories, and they've won 2 off the bat.
Yeah, but
It's-
Labour have also performed a lot stronger in
Aye.
Scotland than people thought. But
Anyway, I think I'm worried about a majority, and then everything goes to shit. Fuck the Tories.
Lastly, I think we kind of touched on it already.
the juxtaposition between
But
accents.
London mayoral, who's taking it?
Sadiq.
Nico. Yeah, it's obviously Sadiq.
To be honest,
it was a no-brainer
yeah.
from the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah.
What's your number one request of Sadiq if he gets another term?
Bruv, sort these
Wait.
But sort these fucking roads out, bruv.
Yeah, I want to know.
Sadiq is a lucky man.
London mayor the person who's in charge of like approving the electric scooters?
Yeah.
Is that the person
Yes.
who's in charge
Yeah.
of that? All right, cool. Bet. That's my number one choice.
What, approve them or ban them?
Approve them.
Okay.
I need them.
They're
Get rid of the
already-
Boris bikes. Give man them the scooters.
Scooters are quite dangerous. They go quite fast, bro.
They are wonderful though. Have you been on one?
Yeah, I have.
They're
in
fantastic.
Tel Aviv still. It's quite fun.
Yeah. They're sick.
brand.
Boris bikes are just, I mean,
They're on trial in
Boris
like
bikes.
a bunch of different parts of the country.
but they just have nowhere near me. Like,
Boris bikes, by definition, are fascist, but
Yep.
like vaccines. But sort these fucking roads out because it's dead. Drive in London now, dog shit. They cut all the side roads off, and the worst thing is every time I get into a cab, all I hear about is Sadiq Khan.
Yep.
So open it up, so not only can we drive, but I don't have to hear about you fucking the roads.
He's
Sadiq,
probably been
please.
the worst mayor we've had in London. There's been 3. Red Ken, Boris and him, right? And he's the worst of the 3.
Why is he the worst?
Firstly, for the same kind of reasons that we were talking about for Keir Starmer, there has been no vision for London. Like,
True.
Yeah,
realistically, in the midst of Brexit, London would probably, out of the whole of the England or United Kingdom, London would probably be the most affected, right? With the financial, with the city of London and with jobs and all the rest of it. Didn't didn't see, I mean, I guess maybe because I was abroad, didn't hear or didn't see much of him during those conversations.
Yeah, he went missing.
He went missing. He was not promoting London. He was not there lobbying for what we need. Nothing, right? Then, from a standard of living perspective, life in London, we were just talking about your boy with the congestion charge, the ULEZ and all the rest of it. TfL went broke, needed a bailout from central government on his watch.
Oh, come on. I will defend him with
Sure,
TfL 'cause it was
whatever.
fucked from when he
On
took
a
it from
whole,
Boris, but carry on.
cool. Maybe it was fucked before he took it over,
was,
but ultimately, the egg cracked on his watch, right?
Yeah.
But these are some of the negative points, and I can't think of anything positive. Let's put it that way, right? And fair enough, he might have had a tough hand because of a year and a half of COVID and all the rest of it. But for someone who harbors ambitions for leading the Labour Party, as he clearly does, we need to see more vim. We need to see more vibes. We need to see more personality. We need to see more vision. We need something other than a story of my dad was a bus driver and it's a kind of rags to riches story.
So today as well was obviously news that we have the new traffic light system, travel corridor, whatever you want to call it. Grant Shapps' shit, whatever you want to call it,
Fuck
right?
Grant Shapps.
We have the green list. Now, if you are unaware, because it's a little bit confusing, we will break it down for you because that is what we do on Discord and Terribly. If you're listening and you don't know what we do after 16 episodes, you know who you are. She's in my head, bro.
She rattled you, bro.
The countries are going to be split into a traffic light system. If you are a green country, of which the list has been released today, Friday. Green means you can travel to these destinations.
Green means
you can go, and upon your return, or in many cases, you can go without even needing a PCR test. But in some countries, you don't necessarily need to have, or you don't need to have a vaccination. And on return, you don't need to quarantine.
If you have a test on the way back.
But you need
Lateral
to,
flow test.
Yeah.
oh shit, am I fucking this up?
Yeah.
So lateral flow test on the way back.
Yeah.
If you're green. If you are amber, and amber's hassle, bruv. First of all,
And Bath.
no. First of all, you have to take a pre-travel test. You have to do your passenger locator form, which is the case in all countries. You have to prove that you have a test booked for day 2 of your return and quarantine period and day 8 of your quarantine period. And if you want to free yourself, you have to take a test after day 5. So that's potentially 4 tests that need to be booked in for you to be able to go after day 5.
But also,
that's
amber
it.
countries you can't travel to on vacation, right? On holiday. It's only for business and
And you have to have a good reason to travel.
reason to
Exactly.
travel,
Red, very, very simply, you come back, it's going to cost you. You're going to be in a quarantine hotel,
1,800
quid for 10 days, right?
Something like that, Major L.
Before you're able to hit the streets.
Major L.
On the list of green countries, Gibraltar,
Dead.
Israel,
Baruch Hashem.
Portugal, hola, tudo bem, tudo bem,
Muito bem.
Australia,
Good eye, mate.
New Zealand.
But you can't even get into them two anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You
Dead
can't
chat.
get into those two because they're not letting you in, so stay your ass at home. Brunei,
Decent.
no accent.
No.
Iceland,
Just do the Viking clap.
to be fair, that was one of the sickest moments in
That was
football in
quite
recent
lit.
years.
And then they turned us over.
yeah, and then yeah, exactly. Thanks,
Harry
Joe
Kane
Hart.
taking corners and that.
Fucking Joe Hart.
Roy
Oh,
Hodgson,
bro,
you
that
clown.
wound me
Don't do it.
up.
Move on.
Harry Kane taking corners.
Move on.
Faroe Islands, similar to Iceland, I think.
There's
Or is it-
someone in
similar
Norway.
to Denmark. Sorry, Denmark. It's close to Denmark. Tristan da Cunha. Never heard of you.
South Atlantic.
Saint Helena.
South Atlantic.
Ascension.
All next to each other in the South Atlantic.
Falkland Islands. Okay.
Oh, don't tell the Argies.
no direct flights.
Singapore, again, another country which won't let you in, but you can try.
Salam alaikum.
Yeah. South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands. Where are these places?
Near the Antarctic.
Yeah, so those are the lists. What do you guys reckon?
It's white boy summer in Gibraltar. That's what's up.
Yeah, to be honest, there's not really much to say on this. These are the countries.
Go, don't go, give a shit.
Yeah,
grow
who
up.
cares? But Johnny did.
The only
I'm
other
going-
thing
I'm
worth
going to Israel,
adding
that's what's up.
is they're going to review that list every 3 weeks.
Is it every 3 weeks?
Every 3 weeks from once lockdown is.
Bruv, Shaps is on some bullshit. It was
He's a waste man. Bro.
like, why can't it be a weekly thing like it was the travel corridors?
He's a waste man.
Every 3 weeks.
At least it means you can go without getting turfed whilst you're abroad.
And he just tweets as well. That's what
Branch
annoys
out.
me
He's a
about him.
meaty geezer, bruv. Just
Yeah.
look at him. He's also called Grant, bruv. Grow up. Unless your surname's Mitchell, you can't pull that off.
That's one of them names that did die like with
Well,
the
Grant.
90s. Yeah, with
It's
the 90s.
probably not for the worst.
Yeah, what's another name that just like you ain't ever really seen someone like with that name?
See, it's tough.
Arthur.
It's tough. But Jeff.
Jeff,
when
you
was the
don't
last
see
time
many.
you saw Jeff. I
don't
mean,
see
there is
many
only one
Jeff. You don't see many Jeffs, Arthurs, Stewarts.
Steves. How many young Steves are there?
Rory's and Benedict's.
No, Benedict's.
I know a
quite
Benedict,
hipster.
but
Benedict's
he's
quite
Benedict
in
or
his
Benjamin?
30s.
No, Benedict.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's
Benedict,
quite
Benedict,
hipster.
Benedict Wall. Ben Wall. He's a Benedict.
I didn't
Yeah,
know he
yeah,
was a
yeah. Shout
Benedict.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a Benedict.
Yeah.
I take it back then.
Roger.
You see, Roger.
Alan.
Alan is definitely gone.
Piers. Actually, there are quite
Piers,
a few.
Piers was
Piers
never
about.
arrived.
Yeah, I feel like Piers never really arrived. I don't know too many Piers.
Malcolm.
Yeah.
Quite like Malcolm though. Malcolm's
decent name.
Portuguese, I think, as
Is
well.
it?
Yeah, like Brazilian,
Interesting.
Portuguese. Yeah. I think it is. It's one of them.
Thinking of Malcolm Tucker. Shout out, think of it.
Yeah.
Or Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah.
Or Malcolm in the middle. So, big news, big news coming out of Caucasian Canyon. William Gates. You know him as Bill.
Daddy G.
He's out here. He's free.
It's a white boy summer.
Melinda, you fumbled the bag. No. You
She fumbled half the bag.
You gained a bag, at least half a bag.
It's quite a big bag.
Clearly, you all know what we're talking about at this point. Melinda and Bill Gates have called it a day. They're divorcing. They don't have a prenup.
That's mad chat. That's mad chat.
27 years of marriage.
That's all I read.
Even Kanye,
Divorce is-
even Kanye before he like became a dickhead, rapped about having a prenup. And Bill Gates,
And Bill Gates just
He was already married. Back.
just
just
ignored him.
vibes, just vibes in.
Just ignored him.
No financial security,
If only
no planning for the
Elvis had
future.
shared this
Just
message.
vibes.
Over the last 27 years, we have raised 3 incredible children and built a foundation
Incredible,
that works
such
all
a strong word.
over the world to enable all people to lead healthy, productive lives.
It's just
We continue to share a belief in that mission and will continue our work together at the foundation. But we no longer believe we can grow together as a couple in the next phase of our lives. So it's 2021. It's May. When's the last time you think they banged?
wow.
Bill gets it in every day.
Where though?
But that's not
Where?
them. That's not
though?
them banging.
Where?
The thing is, a lot of
Fucking
old
every day.
people are getting divorced.
Sounds very
basically.
sexless.
Yeah.
But celebrities
Platonic.
do this weird shit, like what the fucking Coldplay geezer and Gwyneth Paltrow did, the whole conscious uncoupling thing, right?
What was that?
So when they announced they were getting divorced, who's the geezer from Coldplay?
Chris Martin.
Yeah. And Gwyneth Paltrow, they were like,
Yeah.
it's not a divorce, it's a conscious uncoupling. Like all these
that what they called
celebrity,
it?
yeah, all these celebrity divorce announcements are fucking strange.
Didn't they call their kid Apple as well?
Yes.
I mean,
They're on some next
all
shit.
these LA like weirdo
Bruv, he's
celebrities
from like
just eat foreskins
He's from
anyway. They're all
friggin' Margate,
fucking
and he or
rummins,
something like
bro.
that.
Is he?
Chris Martin's from here.
Yeah, well, he went to LA and became a weirdo, innit?
Yeah.
Right.
Why don't people like Coldplay?
I think it's because they consistently release shit music.
That's not true though.
That's definitely not true.
I mean, they were good 15 years ago.
Coldplay
10
are
years
like-
ago.
Yeah, they don't have any new music though.
Yeah, Coldplay are like Jamiroquai in the sense that like they get
No.
way more flack
Jamiroquai's
than they
wavy.
should. I know that. Like Jamiroquai, like
Who
one of my
hates on
favorites.
Jamiroquai?
People like think that Jamiroquai are corny, cheesy, guilty pleasures.
These people do
Like,
not.
Bear man hate on Jake.
100%,
Yeah,
bro.
and if you hate Jamiroquai, you got dry feet. I don't want to hear from you.
Dry feet.
You got dry feet.
So I mean, it's a growing trend, which I'm sure all 3 of us in this room can relate to. That when you hit the billion mark, life gets techie. Relationships fail.
Want to branch out?
People change up on you, and if you don't sign a prenup, you lose half your shit. Last year it was Jeff Bezos. He did a little bit of overlap with his women. Let's call it overlap.
A little bit. Yeah, he played an away game
He
during a home fixture.
definitely traded up in many ways, though. But let's
Did
not
he?
let's just Google her.
I've not seen it.
Let's
Okay.
Google her. Just
Delivered
Google
on
her. I'm not going
Prime.
to say anything more because that's very problematic. But he definitely did bits.
Move on.
But as we approach,
Have you not also seen how he's self-improved himself? Have you seen like the pictures?
He's gone
of
gym.
these-
He
have you
is-
seen the pictures of like old Bezos and new
Yes.
If
Bezos,
you-
old Elon Musk
Well, he
and
just-
new
he
Elon
just
Musk?
accepted
you
that he was
Google
bald,
his new
right?
ting.
He's just got
You'll see why.
basically showed you that money does make you better looking. Basically. Literally, have you seen it side by side?
Yeah, I've seen the
Oh,
glow up.
mate.
The glow up's real.
Yeah.
Divorce is
Real.
Divorce is real. Like when I became a billionaire, my marriage was fine. And then it was, and like Jeff, seeing longer term, and like Bill now, it's not the billion that makes you want to divorce someone. It's white boy summer. It's uncontrollable.
and on that topic, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Chet Hanks, Johnny Vivas,
That's what's up.
and now Jon Snow.
The coalition.
Where are you guys going? White Boy Summer. Tell the people what it's about and tell us how we can join.
Probably the Falkland Islands.
Okay.
That is arguably the whitest island.
All right. What role do you reckon you're going to play in that
In the
whole
world.
in that gang?
I'm probably going to be the money man. I'm probably going to be the man that they rely on for bills. I'm going to leave bitches to Jon Snow because
Yep.
he's lugging. Mm-hmm. That's a man with a track record.
Yeah.
I'm going to let Chet Hanks kind of like lead the intellectual discussion.
You hear me?
On an evening by evening basis.
Yeah, man.
I'm probably going to let Bill Gates do the music.
Okay.
And I'm just going to...
But wait. What would Bill Gates be good at? Why would he be good at music?
Because he would just constantly play Coldplay.
I was just thinking he'd just be on the DJ decks, just like playing like that intro jingle when you switch on a Microsoft computer
There must be a remix,
with a drill beat behind it.
yeah, of that.
That would be sick. to be fair.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah.
That must be there. Where are we going? Where would you go for White Boy Summer, to be fair? I mean, if Chet Hanks is involved, you've got to go to Jamaica,
Yep.
basically.
Chill out with Bounty Killer and them.
Law calendar.
As long as you don't try to appropriate Portugal after Afro Nation. And now suddenly you're going to take White Boy Summer to the sandy beaches of Portugal.
Why is Chet Hanks around?
Why is he a thing?
Why is he here?
I don't know. And he's the son of like the most wholesome white man in America.
Like, I fuck with Tom Hanks heavy.
Differently.
Like, how did this happen?
Terminal, great film.
I mean,
Woody. He is Woody.
Terminal is mad underrated, by the
Yeah,
way.
such a mad
Underrated.
Yeah. Sokovia.
That's very good. But I guess Chet is trying to stamp his foot on the global landscape, right?
Chet ate plantain.
I am the captain now.
Chet ate plantain
Yeah.
once and kind of dated a girl whose mum can make curry goat
Yeah.
for 2 months
Yeah.
and has never gotten over her.
Yeah.
You can't blame him. Once you learn that salt and pepper ain't seasoning, you can't go back.
It's true. So the first time someone washes your chicken with lemon, cheese sauce,
Game
Christ.
changer.
Game changer.
I mean,
That's my chat.
so Melinda is about to become the second richest woman in the world.
She's second, is she?
Yeah, I don't know who's. I think
Jeff Bezos is
no,
right.
it's the L'Oreal lady. I think it's the
No.
L'Oreal lady.
No, there's a couple of Waltons as well. The,
No, I
the
think they're
Walmart
down.
people.
I think they're
Is there not
down.
a Dreyfus as well?
No, I don't think they're. So I think L'Oreal's number one. I think the Waltons come after. But she is due to be the second. Jeff Bezos' ex-wife is probably in the mix in the top 10 somewhere. Yeah, look, man, if you're into investments, right?
Men.
yeah, marry well.
Yeah, marrying well apparently is better than Bitcoin out here. So you heard it here first.
And I'm single, you know? I'm not rich.
Yeah.
I'm single.
Prenups, guys. Look, it's your decision, but
Before you end up on season 12 of Blue Therapy,
yeah.
sign a thing.
Everybody who listens to This Could End Terribly needs to go on YouTube Blue Therapy
Oh my days.
and let us know your
So
thoughts.
as a Latino man whose star sign is Aquarius, I am very well acquainted with, being toxic. What I saw in these 2 35-minute episodes shocked me. In fact,
Crazy.
I was scolded by Max when I was watching them at home because apparently I kept going too much whilst he was trying to play Call of Duty. So the sound effects that turned me into my own Venezuelan auntie should explain just how mad the chat of Blue Therapy is. Everyone should get involved.
Oh shit! So apparently, I got my orders wrong. So it is in fact the L'Oreal lady or the L'Oreal family who are number one. Then it's Alice Walton,
Okay.
and then it's Mackenzie Scott, ex-wife of Jeff Bezos.
number
However,
three.
I think if Melinda gets half of the money, she'll go in at number 2 because I think her value is 65 bills. So I think that'll take her into second.
Nice.
So yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yo, Melinda,
It's not
where you
bad
at?
trade.
Melinda, where you at? Yo, where you at? Where you at, baby? Where you at? Holla.
I too like computers and wear glasses.
Yeah.
So,
My IG is ABIADE.
listen, she's got a type, and
And I like snuggles.
and it's not you.
Usually you go for the opposite of what
And,
you just said.
I'll chuck out my MacBook for you.
Is that true?
You're gonna see her getting
Melinda-
together with
Melinda
Terry
Gates-
Crews.
Melinda Gates on-
Terry Crews and Melinda Gates.
Melinda Gates on Black.
Terry Crews. Oh, not Ted Cruz. Terry Crews.
You literally go for the opposite of what you've had.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces past as I'm homebound.
You've gone from powdered milk to protein powder.
Yes.
Nah, but look, Johnny, let us know. Send us pictures. White Boy Summer sounds lit. We're going to be doing our own melanated thing over here. Look, if you want some friends who are actually your friends, let us know. Or come over to this side. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm
What do you mean
lucky.
come over to you got +1?
To be honest.
I've got
No.
mine.
The minute you go over to White Boy Summer, it's a wrap for you, innit? You can't come
I've got
back
3
here.
summers. I'm going to Latino summer and Jew summer as well. I'm gonna have a busy summer.
Which one do you foresee as being the best?
Well, whatever. I don't know, but Latino summer's gonna be lit. To be fair,
I mean, yeah,
I'll take
that
Latino
sounds better.
But what I'm trying to say is I don't have time for you people this summer, so
You people.
don't call me.
I think you guys have heard that before.
You people. Anyway.
Oh wait a minute! What?
Take your time.
I was in my own
That was,
little world
the
there.
most delayed response to casual racism I've ever seen.
So I was like halfway through saying something that I kind of censored myself on, and then just
And I came and did it for you.
and then you came out with something else. Yeah,
So-
very good.
So last week, we kind of accidentally became relationship advice gurus.
Holy shit, did we not?
Turns out people quite enjoyed
That's right.
us giving
The
advice.
male perspective.
Yeah, on things that we have no right to give advice on. And I can promise the listeners, we are not going to become that podcast. But every now and again, we are going to do this because it is quite funny. Tommy has decided to hit
Yes.
us with a scenario which
Yes.
we have no idea
haven't
what's
heard
coming.
yet. We haven't
have
heard yet.
no fucking clue, right? So you're hearing this the first time,
As we are. The one thing we've learned is that men don't give their opinion enough on people's relationships.
No, exactly.
And that's the gap we're trying to fill.
Correct.
Tommy, take it away.
I know you mentioned that.
Man,
yeah,
cleared his
obviously
throat.
I'm
that,
so
ready.
that this may not be a kind of a weekly episodic segment.
Yeah, no.
Fandom, don't be surprised if next time there's a little jingle.
Don't be surprised if this bangs.
There's a little jingle that comes into this. Anyway, all right, let's start. So this we got a little DM. So I'm just gonna read.
Sure.
So it says, "Hi guys. On the last episode, Tommy mentioned relationship advice may be a reoccurring segment, and I need advice."
Oh, Ross. We've become agony uncles.
Yo, if we keep getting DMs like this, we might become that
I'm
podcast.
down to be an
I'm
agony
already-
uncle.
I'm looking forward to creating that jingle. My boyfriend and I have been together for 5 years.
Okay.
And are very happy.
Strong. But
This hasn't always been the case.
Oh.
About 3 years ago, things weren't going well. And I made the mistake of sleeping with one of his friends.
Oh, boy.
I instantly regretted it, but never told him.
Oh.
Things in our relationship got better, making the secret harder to carry.
Oh, boy.
At different periods, for about 6 months after, I'd feel the urge to tell him the truth,
Okay.
but would always chicken out.
Okay.
Then my boyfriend and that friend fell out and stopped talking. And without seeing that person around or hearing his name in conversation, and this is my favorite line, I started getting over the guilt and forgiving myself.
Wow.
Gunshot.
Yes, for
gun
the
fingers
for the
in
listening
the studio.
audience.
Yeah.
Tommy just did the gun finger
Gun
sign.
fingers in the studio.
Please continue.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I was spring cleaning the house and found an engagement ring.
Oh.
Plot twist.
At first, I was happy, and now I'm racked with guilt again.
Oh, boy.
What should I do? I need a guy's perspective, as the only person I've told is my best friend, and I'll just pause here and let you guys take over. And then once we hear the male perspective, I guess we'll go back to what her best friend thinks she should do.
Her best friend being a girl.
I guess that would be an assumption. It just says my best friend. So
Okay.
I'm just assuming
But the
it's a girl.
submitter of this is a girl.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, so a couple initial thoughts. I'm going to take the lead on this one, Rich, if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
please.
Rich is still in shock.
The first one is something that Tommy said last week, quite prophetic, something, being a pragmatist, I agree with. Die with the lie.
Yes.
Amen.
But if dying with the lie is the strategy, then really you've been given an enormous tactical advantage in that your man and your beat no longer talk to each other.
Yeah.
Is that tactical advantage or a joker in the card? Because my G could pop up at any time and ruin your life.
Okay, so when we
But
do
if
we
he
know,
hasn't done it before,
do we
then-
know if they're just not talking or if they actually hate each other?
No idea. Everything we know is basically what I've just read.
Okay, fine.
I'm just going to keep it a buck. There's absolutely no way it was just one bang. He's been blowing her back out multiple times. That's why she
boy.
feels all of this excess guilt. All right, Johnny, back to you.
Wow, you reckon?
That's a
It could
hospital
easily
pass.
be the truth. That could easily
No,
be
you're
the
gonna
case.
have to elaborate.
So, things were good for 5 years.
No. Things were good for 3.
Basically 2 years. My boyfriend and I have been together for 5 years and I'm very happy. This wasn't always the case about 3 years ago. So they were good for 2 years, I guess. The first 2 years of their relationship.
Then she had an away day.
Exactly.
And then she came back home.
Then she came home and felt guilty basically for 6 months.
And then she wasn't guilty anymore.
Then when they stopped talking, she forgave herself.
Oh, boy.
So she went up to the
Gun
races.
fingers again.
So she went out to the races in Cheltenham with the girls, got finger banged in between races.
Please, it's finger blasted.
Grow up.
Banged or blasted. Whatever. No, but
Oh, this is a sticky one. This is a
Look.
sticky one.
So basically,
I
to
don't
cut it,
believe there was one time.
Oh, okay.
I think she's lying, which is fucking typical of her, this peasant. This lying, cheating Jezebel.
Well, hold on.
No, I'm
Were they
joking.
cheating? This is Ross and Rachel all over again. Like, were they on a break?
The way I've taken this.
Okay. Well, we only
from
have
what
what you
I've
have,
read,
right?
basically.
Right.
Is
Which
that
all the listeners have
things
as well.
were a bit shaky after about 2 years into.
And
the
then she went
relationship.
and fucked him.
She fucked one of his friends.
Oh my days! So they weren't even on a break. They
No.
were just
Well,
having a bad time.
we don't know.
Yes, that's
That
kind of
is
what I was getting
mad.
at.
We
And
don't
that's-
know. We
You
don't
don't just
know.
feel that way. You don't just feel that way because it was just one bang, right? Obviously, you feel guilt because of a bang, but I think when you feel that much guilt
Structural guilt.
What's the structural guilt?
over a long period of time, I think there's more to it. There are feelings involved.
So what you're saying is if they only banged once, she would have already forgotten about it.
Should have moved past it.
Well, that's what she said. She said she moved past it literally
Well,
6 months later.
Yeah, but now that they're getting there's an engagement ring.
That's why
she's
she's
the guilt's come
yeah,
back.
now she's guilty again. Exactly.
Oh boy.
So what do you reckon? You're
So,
sticking with
alright,
guy with
so-
the lie, yeah?
No. So what does she actually want in terms of advice? Does she want us to tell her whether or not she should
Tell
go
him
and
or not,
reveal?
I'm guessing, yeah.
Okay, so for me, this comes down to
Saying, and
What's
now
different?
I'm racked with guilt again. Well, he's about to propose at some stage.
Well, this guilt thing, lady, seems to come and go.
yes.
It seems to come and go. It seems to peak and trough.
Yeah. But I think that's how guilt works.
So maybe she should just write it out, right? Put the ring on.
like she
it might
rode,
be a nice
like
little.
she rode him out.
Ba-dum-tsh. It might be a nice little ring. Put the ring on for a bit. Go for a jog. I don't know. Chances are your guilt is probably going to go away again.
No, look, for me,
And then maybe on your wedding day you'll get cold feet and like. I
no,
don't know.
honesty's got to be the best policy. I think.
You just said die with the lie.
Yeah,
What?
No,
exactly.
I mean,
What
I
happened
was
to that?
quoting. I was quoting Tommy. Attributing
throwing Tommy under the bus.
attributing behaviour to him.
I'm looking frantically at Rich. Edit.
I ain't editing shit.
You should tell him. You should tell him because, like, say he does marry you, and then gets in touch with his friend. So I think this is where it's important in the context of information leakage, whether they're not they're just talking or whether or not they're beefing. Because two twos, if I fucking hated someone and I've put his missus over and he wifes it and he tries to give it large to me in public one day because we cross paths, I'm letting him know I've tucked his missus, right? And the same thing, if a girl,
Johnny.
if a girl,
petty, yeah.
if a
That's why I
girl,
fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker.
West Side,
West Side.
we ride for life. No, but two twos. If a girl hated another girl and she'd fucked this girl's fella, and then they got married, and this girl was giving it to her, like two twos, a girl would be like,
I think we
"Well, I
should
fucked your man, you
Yeah.
fat motherfucker."
I think we should
Fake
assume
money.
that the mate is not gonna get
Not gonna leak.
He's not gonna find out.
Leak. Yeah,
He's not gonna leak.
Cat out the bag, because
I'm not gonna lie.
he would have leaked by now otherwise.
Do you
right?
think? Okay.
I'd assume so, because she says like 6 months later they stopped talking, and then she's been blessed for 3 years.
What do you think she
basically.
feels most guilty about? Do you think she feels most guilty about cheating or cheating with the friend?
So I'm
'Cause
gonna
there
give-
are
I'm gonna-
levels- there
no,
are
I'm gonna
levels
give her
to
some. I'm going to
this.
give her some sympathy here because she hasn't been caught. So it's very easy to be guilty that you've been caught for
sympathy
something.
or respect?
Yeah. So
Nah, she feels guilty because
I think she
she's
does feel guilty that
cheated,
she's done
which
it.
is
Of
not, let's not give her too much credit.
No,
here.
I think she feels guilty that she's done it.
Yeah, and
Not that
she
she's been caught.
should.
She hasn't been caught, and good for her. Good
and
for her
she
for
should.
facing this.
So she's not completely dead inside, but she also fucked her man's friend. So questionable.
I mean, that's mad.
Yeah,
chat.
yeah. So ultimately, what are you
There's
telling her? What
so many
telling
other men
her-
you could
telling
fuck.
her to tell?
Look, so this is my advice: if you're going to cheat, fuck an op, not a friend. Okay.
That's even worse. The op is more likely to take your position
Nah,
of
Johnny,
I'm telling him to the
Tommy,
face.
Tommy, put yourself in his shoes. Would you rather your missus bang your enemy or bang your bro?
Probably neither.
Okay, we
Pick
haven't got a choice. We haven't got a choice.
one.
You're having a bad time, and
Yeah,
she needs
obviously
some.
an enemy. 'cause
Yeah,
you wouldn't expect
exactly.
your friend to be
There's so
friendly.
many guys she
Right?
could have banged.
So if you're going to cheat, then fuck someone who he doesn't like. Otherwise, it's just rude. But
Nah, but that's arms as well. Just fuck a stranger.
yeah,
You know what I
actually,
mean?
yeah.
Just
yeah.
walk into a bar
Walk
and
into
just
a
pick
bar.
someone up.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how bad could it have been where you banged his friend?
Yeah, his friend. That's
the thing,
mad
that's
chat.
the thing.
That's mad chat. Oh Lord,
It couldn't have been that bad. He went on to try and wife you.
No, because hold on.
You're just a hoe.
No, because last week's
joking. Sorry,
like
whoever you are.
relationship thing was like there was like structure to it. There was like a bit like it was a grey area. You could have this is just bleak, bro. You've chucked us in the deep end of the agony uncle thing.
She wants to know what to do, basically.
She should.
Die with a lie.
If your missus sat you down and had this conversation,
It's game over.
yeah,
Stone Cold Stunner.
exactly, right? It's
game over.
naturally
It's game over. Of course,
game
it is.
over,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So if she, similar to yourself, is a pragmatist, surely she should just die with the lie.
Yeah, I think that's what she will do.
So the thing that I censored is her best friend thinks she should shut the fuck up.
They have always been better liars than
Yeah,
us.
that's the
Yes, they
thing.
are. Well,
That's
they're
the
just
thing.
a lot more intelligent
I'm
than
sure
we
my
are.
G has no idea.
Oh, absolutely
Literally.
He's bought a ring, so obviously he has
He's got
no
no
idea.
idea.
Yeah.
if it's the other way around, this is where women are better than men. If it was the other way around, if a man fucked the best friend of his girlfriend, imagine just like, I don't know, like the Saturday at the beer garden, he'd just be there like,
Just Birkin bags everywhere.
just giving it away. Just giving it away.
Yeah, no, well, they are just smarter than we are. It is what it is.
The thing is, yeah. So I said die with the lie, but the flip side is, will she carry on having these kind of guilt events at every major hurdle?
Yes,
right?
that's my point,
So
bro.
that's the thing. So you felt guilty for 6 months, then it kind of died out. 2 years later, you find a ring, sudden panic, like guilt attack. Then on the wedding day,
Okay.
guilt attack. Oh, then whatever, you have a kid, guilt attack.
So
I don't know.
similar question. What I'm trying to get at is, are parents providing housing as part of this marriage?
Don't know. Yeah.
Because if she, if
That's why she's staying.
If she's getting a house,
Like
off of
Voga
uncle-
last episode.
yeah. So like, if uncle's giving her a house for staying, like, okay, it's a lot easier being guilty in a mansion than it is kind of in the boot of the car.
Yeah. But in summary, look, wherever you are out there, lady, take your ring, keep stum, live your life. Stay away from his friends.
That's excellent chat. That her best friend told her to shut the fuck up as well.
Stay away from his friends, you heathen. Stay away.
One thing I'd add is I'd point her towards last week's or the last episode of the This Could End Terribly podcast, where she shouldn't get married and then 3-4 years later go out for a couple of drinks with some friends, then come home and confess everything.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
or find other things to talk about.
Yeah.
At least that's a mad scenario.
Hope we did that justice.
Keep your suggestions coming in.
Yes, DM us. This could end terribly on Instagram.
in full confidence, naturally.
Obviously, as the last two have not been baited,
Yes.
right? So we've got your back, people.
100%.
Bro, can you imagine banging your partner's bestie?
That's mad chat. That's mad chat. But
All right, I've got a question for you guys. Once he finds out, if he finds out, what would a proportionate retribution be?
oh, you just got to cut her off. That's it. Game over. Cut her off. See you later.
Nah, that's not proportional.
I mean, that's minimum, right?
That's why I'm so. What's
So
proportional?
you want him to go and
What's
bang her best
proportional?
friend?
That's what I'm asking. What's the
Take the-
proportional response?
Take the engagement ring back, but like also with
He
her
hasn't given it to her.
with her finger still attached to it.
No, I'm
Shame.
I'm selling.
Shame.
I'm selling the ring back. I'm getting my money back for the ring. Then I'm gonna spend the next 2 years of my life slow gaming her best friend. I'm gonna keep that money in deposit, and then it's gonna be first date at Hakkasan, at Sexy Fish. I don't even go to these places, but I'm doing it for the long game. 9 to 12 months after the breakup, we go for an innocent friends dinner catch up kind of hype. How's everything going? A few days later, basically, I'm going to go on a 2-year campaign to draw her best friend, and then I'm going to send a picture of the event.
Yeah, but that just fucks a best friend.
Yeah, that's
Both
the proportionate response.
figuratively and literally.
That's the proportionate response.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for that. That was.
No, just leave her. Just leave her, bro. She's toxic.
Yeah. Just run a mile,
Just
bro.
run.
a mile, bro.
This one, as Rich said,
wonder if he
this one,
probably
as Rich
doesn't
said,
listen.
is not your portion.
No, it's not your portion in Jesus'
In
name.
Jesus' name, amen.
Unfortunately, we have to take a bit of a dark turn now because we're going on to much more serious topics. A couple of weeks ago, a few weekends ago, somebody who we kind of all recognize as being a little bit of a sort of UK legend, pride and joy, talented man who has made his name in cinema, broken barriers, given us classics or street classics, whatever you want to call them, and then has had a great acting career in his own right. Noel Clarke stood up in front of everybody at the BAFTA Awards, collecting a Lifetime Achievement Award or Contribution to Cinema
British
Award or
cinema.
whatever. And he did a really, really inspirational speech about, being from where he's from, being black, etc., and not putting these barriers on yourself, believing that you can do it. That went viral. Everybody was sending it around. It was super, super emotional. It was great. That was great. 2 days later, the whole fucking circus around Noel Clarke crumbled because he was exposed by The Guardian in what was probably one of the longest Guardian articles I've ever read in my life, by the way.
Quite a fair play to the journalist. Solid investigative work.
Absolutely. Accusing him, or they did an expose which essentially accused Noel Clarke of having abused up to 20 women throughout the course of his career, both on set, off set, and everything in between. Now, by the time you're hearing this, you've probably heard a great deal about it. A lot of women have come out and corroborated a lot of those claims. It took a little bit more of a deeper turn, or I guess we kind of just had another story to add to the additional stories we had today, with more coming forward saying that he sexually harassed or was inappropriate on the set of the BBC's flagship show, Doctor Who. Now, we're not going to sit here and act as though the BBC, of all institutions, are a beacon for sexual safety. Hashtag Savile, hashtag da-da-da-da-da, right? That was BBC, right? Yeah. And BAFTA, they essentially heard about this. The thing that makes the Noel Clarke situation a little bit weird is that they got an email, an anonymous email, the BAFTA organization, that this was going to come. They knew that they were going to be giving Noel Clarke a Lifetime Achievement Award, but because they couldn't prove the accusations, they decided to push ahead. When it came out that this was deeper and there was evidence, there was proof, they stripped him of everything that they awarded him, his membership, so on and so forth. Fast forward to today, we're hearing news about the flagship show and what happened on the set of Doctor Who. And it turns out this is kind of like a classic R. Kelly-like God complex. What's the phrase? Living in plain sight, whatever it is.
Hiding in plain sight.
Hiding in plain sight. Sorry, that's the one. Hiding in plain sight situation. And the reason why I actually want to bring this up is because of something quite particular in the case. Like Ashley Walters, you guys know as an actor, we know him as Asher D from So Solid. For me, one of my, I wouldn't say idols, but I really, really appreciate what he's done for cinema. And I think he's super, super talented, always has been. He came out of the woodworks, having worked with Noel Clarke for the last few years on Sky's Bulletproof, and basically made a statement saying he is appalled, he is in support of the women who have come forward, he's in support of them. But it had me thinking, like, do you reckon these people are doing that in an attempt to get ahead of it and say preserve their own brand? Or do you genuinely think that people who claim to be friends of people like Noel Clarke, like Ashley said he was, aren't at all aware of what's going on while it's happening?
It's a tough one. Someone like Ashley Waters, he seems like good vibes.
Yeah.
He does seem like good vibes. He's got a missus. He's doing the wholesome
Family
bought a
man.
house thing.
Yeah.
Da, da, da.
That house looked lit, by the way.
You would think that he would speak out. Now, to answer the question, why do people pretend that it doesn't happen or pretend they don't know? Look what happens to someone like Adam Deacon when he spoke out against Noel Clarke's tyranny how many years ago? Okay, it went left for him. Smoked too much punk. Ended up having a psychotic episode, chasing someone with a sword or a fuck knows whatever, and it went west. But fundamentally, and we saw this with Harvey Weinstein and before the Me Too movement, that it's not easy to speak against power because power reacts, and power reacts strongly.
Yeah.
I think what is positive now, maybe since the Me Too movement, is that condemnation does come quicker. Someone like Ashley Waters, who is Noel Clarke's friend, was very unequivocal in his statement, although this was someone that I have considered a friend and worked with for years. This kind of behavior is, if true, is unacceptable. And nobody came out, no significant men in the industry came out against Harvey Weinstein with similar energy to Ashley Waters.
Do you think it was self-serving?
Yeah, and
From
that's
Ashley
kind of what I'm
Waters.
trying to get to, right? Was it self-serving? Was it protecting his neck? Was it protecting his new house and his brand?
The only answer is yes, right? Obviously,
I don't
that's
think
part of the
so.
consideration.
No,
That's part of the consideration. There's no way you can tell me that wasn't part of the thought process, right? Secondly, you're also pretty generous. Like, obviously he knew, right? Everyone knew. Like, you think about it in your own settings, in your own professional settings.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows,
Yeah.
right? Whether, I'm not saying everybody know in your own professional settings that, people are being groped and stuff. But I mean, generally, people will know who's a dick and
Okay.
who's
Yeah.
not.
If the
who's a
Guardian-
nice
But
guy,
again-
who's not a nice guy.
If the Guardian can come out with an article that has 20 cases worth of proof, the chances are this was a guy who was doing it
So the first thing
pretty
is
flagrantly.
Sure. Well, so this is the thing. So there's the first thing is the difference between someone who's just a dick and someone who sexually assaults co-workers.
No,
Full
but I was
scope.
just,
I
I
understand
wasn't
what
trying.
you're trying to-
I wasn't trying to compare them. I was just saying, I was trying to compare them, but I wasn't trying to create an equivalency. Of
course, but
right?
I'm
I was
just
just saying,
sure.
who's a nice guy and who's not a nice guy.
Sure.
From working with them.
Sure, but
right?
this is the difference between someone being not a nice guy and being someone who sexually assaults people. There's a difference in the pattern of activity of someone like Noel Clarke, for example, from the allegations, from what I understand, wasn't doing it Harvey Weinstein style.
It was pretty flagrant.
From what I understand, it wasn't that obvious. Harvey Weinstein was groping people in front of other people.
Yeah,
Noel
but
Clarke
Noel
was doing
Clarke
it in
had-
secret in changing rooms.
Nah, but
different.
Noel Clarke had people rehearsing for his films butt naked, and then saying,
Okay.
which isn't normal.
That's not normal, and it's also not kosher, and it's not cool, and I'm not here to
Yeah.
defend it.
It's naive
It's morally
to think.
bankrupt. Is it sexual assault to the extent that the 20 women claim? No, it's not. They claim they were actually assaulted by him. That's different behavior. That's different behavior. I'm sure Harvey Weinstein had a shit ton of people auditioning
But it's a
naked,
pattern. It's
which
a
is
pattern.
wrong.
It's a pattern,
which is
right?
wrong. But that's not to say that he was forcing their hands up their skirt. When Noel Clarke was doing that, he was doing it in a less obvious way than someone like Harvey Weinstein was doing, and that's why people couldn't speak against him.
I don't
You
think
can't
it's less obvious.
chastise Ashley Waters for
I
coming
think
out
Harvey
against it.
Weinstein did a lot of things behind the scenes.
A lot of
like
things,
there
a lot
was
of
like
things.
the French actress Leia Seydoux, that happened in a hotel. A lot of it happened over massages in quiet settings, and I think the only people who knew in the Harvey Weinstein cases was his assistant, who pretty much orchestrated some of these women going to the hotel rooms, basically pimp kind of role.
Played the Ghislaine role.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't necessarily want to make that distinction between what constitutes abuse, harassment, bad, good, etc., because it's clear that he's done a bunch of very, very egregious things. The reality, though, is that if he is doing things as brazen as drop your pants, drop your clothes, this might be a nude scene, so we need to see what you're working with, when that's just not really normal in casting in general, and you've got people who were there who were witnessing it but keeping stum. I understand the power dynamic and everything that you said in the start, but the brazen attitude that one would have to do that probably translates to equivalent brazen acts throughout the course of his career, and nobody's going to tell me, similar to what Tommy said, that everybody was just like, No, Noel's cool.
The other thing
He's a cool guy.
Yeah, and I understand that.
Sorry, the other thing to compound your point is that given the power dynamics and given that you get away with it the first time, the second time, the third time, it would be naive to think that it didn't escalate in its brazenness, right? In how flagrant it actually was. So maybe the first couple of times was in a changing room or behind the scenes or whatever, right? Where you're one-on-one. But part, I guess, from what I've read and what I've understood, part of the attraction is that power play, right? Is that subjugating another person, right? And often in front of a crowd, right? So it becomes increasingly flagrant. And on top of all of that, that flagrancy is what makes it difficult to say that no one else knew.
So then, so even if we take your points as valid, do we still chastise Ashley Waters for coming out and saying something?
Yeah, no, we don't.
No, it's not about Ashley Waters.
But the point he
But I
came
guess
out, so
the
he came out
story
and said
here-
something. You said, "Well, this is self-serving."
it's about-
so if he doesn't come out,
for
then
me-
he's supporting this behaviour.
No,
It's
but if
better
he-
that he came out and spoke against.
My angle is about a web of complicity, right? And I think in these cases, as with R. Kelly, as with Michael Jackson, well, he wasn't guilty,
Allegedly.
but wasn't proven guilty,
Acquitted.
right? But
Well,
let's
actually,
focus
well,
on
fucking hell.
R.
Rabbit
Kelly.
hole.
It's obviously clear that was a network, a chain, a whole management group of people who enabled and facilitated that fuckery. What I'm trying to say is maybe Noel Clarke had a similar situation, so it's a little bit rich. I'm not making a judgment. I'm just asking the question: is it a little bit rich, given there is a high chance that somebody like Ashley maybe knew that he is the first to come out and be like, I'm disassociating myself from something, given that he called himself a friend,
Yeah,
not just a coworker,
Yeah.
a friend,
Yeah.
right? Is it a little bit rich of somebody like Ashley Waters to seemingly get ahead of it, to essentially relinquish himself of any responsibility when the likelihood is that he couldn't have not seen something all the time have known each other?
It's non-optional. Like, he has to do this, right? Like, firstly, I get where Johnny's coming from. We shouldn't try to predict his motivation for what he did, right? Got it. But at the same time, he has no other option. If he doesn't come out this forcefully, he gets tarred with the same brush, right? And we've seen how prevalent cancel culture is, right? And how easily and how quickly people get cancelled. So if Ashley Waters didn't come out with such a statement and so early on, given how close they are and how long they've worked together, the assumption would be that he was either in on it or his silence is some form of guilt or endorsement.
So then let me give you another example.
I don't think it's fair that you can attack
let me
him
jump in.
presuming that
And maybe
he
our
must
tone-
have known because he's worked with
Maybe
him.
our tone is off because again, I don't want to make it sound like it's a judgment. But to Tommy's point just now, let me give another example. Solo 4-5, Boy Better Know. You said that Ashley kind of had to say something. Skepta, JME didn't say anything. None of them did.
Yeah, but I don't know who you're talking about.
So Solo 4-5 was that guy who had that song, Feed 'em to the Lions,
Yeah, but
Feed 'em to...
to
And
the Lions.
he got locked up for 30 years, like a long
little
stretch,
stretch, yeah.
because of multiple rapes, right? And, you know, I don't want to go too off script from what happened in the court and who the accusers were, but in most cases, it was like on tours, his fans, etc., etc. So again, probably in settings where he's with the Mandem and his business partners, who were also his friends, who, when that happened, when the accusations first came, didn't say anything, and then when the verdict came, didn't say anything. So do they have to say something like Ashley did?
It's not the same, I think, because what was clear with Noel Clarke's issue is that it was going to be front page news, right? He had just got an award from BAFTA, which we'll go on to how ill-conceived that BAFTA thing was, because they knew about it going into the awarding of the prize or whatever, right? So he has to say something because this is much bigger news. Solo 45 probably didn't make any newspapers. Probably
It made newspapers for sure. But again, I don't know if the scale of it. I don't know if the
But hold on,
size of
can
it
I
is.
just say, just because Skepta, JME, Frisco, BBK didn't speak about Solo 4-5 isn't to say that Ashley Walters was equally complicit and must have known to the same extent that BBK did. We don't know the working relationship. We don't know the context in which Solo 4-5's assaults were done versus Noel Clarke's. It's impossible to say that Ashley Walters was as close to the attacks as the BBK lot were around Solo 4-5. It's just not fair to speak out against someone who did condemn the actions because other people didn't.
I don't think we're condemning him.
Yeah.
I think the question was simply, was any of that statement self-serving? I think that's basically the question, right? The question is, when you make the decision as to speak out against your friend, as he said, of many, many years, various TV shows and so forth, when you're making that decision,
Where's it
it's
coming
not
from?
purely altruistic. Let's put it that way. There has to be, like, it's naive to think that there are no self-serving calculations. I wouldn't believe it.
Fine. Okay. I can understand. Naturally,
There's a PR team, there's a manager, there's an agent, there's a whole ecosystem supporting this guy.
Okay, fine. Like, there's a bit of nature involved. I get it, right? But
we're not giving him too much of a tough time. That was just a simple, is it part of his thinking? Is he trying to get ahead of it?
Well, I don't think that's how it came out. I think you said, like, he basically came out and said it because it was protecting his own image. And I
asked the question. I
don't think that's fair. I think he genuinely cares about these victims. As we said, wholesome bloke, family man, doing his whole young, successful black actor buying
so let me ask you a direct
The guy
question.
seems to be wholesome energy. You can't just say that he's only doing this for,
what do you
for
think,
self-serving vibes. I think that's wrong.
along the lines of web of complicity, what do you think the likelihood is that somebody like Ashley did know? Given all the facts about Noel Clarke right now, just your general view on that.
Again, from what I understand from the allegations, from the reporting, I've not seen any clear evidence that it was either done in front of Ashley Walters or that it happened during projects that they worked on together, right? So Bulletproof is the main one. I'm not entirely sure that any accusations have been made during shooting sessions of Bulletproof. If there were casting sessions where this weird naked behavior stuff went on, I'm not sure Ashley Walters would have been. For some reason, I've ended up becoming Ashley Walters' defense lawyer during this
Here's
segment.
a question for you. Do you think he would have said something if it wasn't going to be big news?
I think he would have done. I think if he, again, not to be Ashley Walters' defense lawyer, I don't fucking know the bloke, but I think he's the kind of guy who, if he saw this behavior, would have G-checked his people.
And defense implies that we're attacking. I fucking love Ashley Waters. Like, I said that from the start, right? Like, I love the guy.
Sure, but I do think he's the kind of guy that would G-check his people. Now, if Noel Clarke's working with like wannabe casting agents who just want to get close to a power broker, which Noel Clarke ultimately is, being a BAFTA winner, as he became to be a BAFTA winner.
Definitely a power broker if you ask my size Don.
Sure, right? Now, these people, they're bang guilty of not saying anything. Casting agents who are watching 19 to 24-year-old girls come in and drop their clothes, or even younger, drop their clothes for nude scenes, knowing full well that this thing's being fucking cast in the Arctic. Yeah, they're bang guilty. And it's this lack of action that leads to this behavior. But I don't think we can condemn Ashley Walters for coming out and actually speaking against it.
Cool. And I started this by saying that this has become a story again. Not that it kind of ever left us, but it's kind of been reignited because of what's happened on the set of Doctor Who. Another Doctor Who actor, a guy called John Barrowman, was also accused of repeatedly exposing himself to workers on 2 BBC
this
productions.
Going back years, though,
going back years and years and years and years. So again, I don't necessarily think that while we can't prove that these things happened on Bulletproof with Ashley Walters, for example, I don't think we should steer too far away from the possibility that it did, because much of this did happen on sets. So it is what it is. We can't necessarily prove it. My question was more around, as I keep saying it, but about complicity and how far that kind of reaches, whether or not it is just like the crew. Maybe it's not necessarily the acting crew. Mm-hmm. Maybe they don't see things. Yes, Ashley Walters may seem like the kind of person who would G-check people, but sometimes when you're just trying to pick up a check because Sky are footing a huge one for a primetime show, sometimes complicity and keeping quiet is also in your best interest. So I'm just trying to dig deeper. I've got no real destination in trying to dig deep. I'm not trying to unearth anything, but it's unsettling for me knowing, as Tommy said at the start, we kind of all know, and we've spoken about this before. Sarah Everard, for example, we kind of all know in the crew, every group dynamic has that wrong and that everybody knows is the wrong, and every office has that wrong and everybody knows that person is the wrong. And why would Noel Clarke in this situation be any different? I don't know. I just don't see it. So I find it a bit funny when people are coming out of the woodwork saying, "Oh, I'm with the women." When Michaela Coel just dropped like two articles on her Twitter, that spoke fucking volumes to me, because industry secrets aren't really secrets.
Not really secrets at all.
So the fact that she just did article 1 from Guardian, article 2 from BBC, left it, and then in the morning came out with a statement. I was like, she knows all of the fucking tea.
Yeah.
She knows all of it. So chances are that this was just like one of them industry things that has finally
cracked.
Yeah.
For sure, especially if it's going on over 3 or 4 different, or 2 different productions. We're talking about Doctor Who. You're talking about the other show he did. It seems anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, man, to everybody, to all the women
Big up
involved, right?
Ashley.
Yeah. To all the women involved, I hope you get justice. Noel Clarke is done out here.
Must be.
He's finished, and rightly so. If everything that has been written is true, I think his responses to the accusations have been a bit weird.
Been awful. Been awful. Deny, but I'll go and get help just in case. Like, come on, bruv.
Just bizarre.
Just own up to it.
Just bizarre.
Just own up to it.
But yeah, just hope everybody involved gets their justice and their just deserved. That's pretty much our main gist today. But I'm pissed off.
Oh,
I'm pissed off.
what's happened?
We talk a lot about like how difficult this podcast thing is. Like, not in terms of like what we do. What we do isn't the easiest, but not necessarily that. More about the fact that every single week it would appear a brand new podcast is coming out, and it's by somebody who is super, super fucking famous, super popular, has a huge following already, and they're just clogging up the pipe.
Yeah, I mean, I was hesitant about telling you I was starting my own podcast.
Look, we can get to that later. It's been a bumpy couple of weeks for me, Johnny. I don't need another one. Okay?
Another one.
So let's take it offline. Maybe we can have it on the TCET YouTube page.
That's what's up.
I can help. Segue. Well, actually, no. Digress. Did you guys see the what's her name? Kate and William got their own little YouTube channel now. Now they're content creators.
I think the purpose of this channel is to identify babies that are black or not black.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to
from black or white photos.
I'm looking forward to that game show. But no, back to the point.
It's going to be called In Coloured.
I'm usually appalled when I hear news about most new podcasts from all these big celebrities that I've just mentioned. But this one that's just been announced,
I'm rattled.
I gotta say,
I'm rattled.
This sounds fucking amazing.
This is the first, like, a lot of new podcasts come out like ours, and like you don't really think much of them, unlike ours. But this one, I'm genuinely rattled by who's hosting it.
Dave Chappelle, Talib Kweli, Yasin Bey, aka Mos Def.
Yeah, it's a problem.
On a podcast.
It's a problem. Black Star and Dave Chappelle.
I got nothing more for you. It sounds amazing. I can't wait.
I mean, go listen to it.
I can't even hate.
Go listen to it. I'm going to be listening to it. I'm in.
Fuck.
Do they come out on Tuesdays?
I hope not.
They better not come out on Tuesdays. RT, please.
I really hope not.
Please don't come out on Tuesdays.
Fucking annoying. But it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm in. And as we were saying earlier, contributors to some of the greatest sketches on the Dave Chappelle Show ever.
Legends.
The race draft, anchored by Mos Def.
Yeah, they've been friends from time because Black Star performed, because obviously Dave Chappelle used to have rappers at the end of the show. Black Star performed. Mos Def, as he was named then, did a few of the segments, not just the racial draft. He did a few of the segments.
He was the head of the CIA in Black Bush.
Yes.
Yeah. And,
got the yellow cake with me right now.
Yeah. And I was
wrapped up in the CIA napkin.
I was even watching a film the other day, and this is why I just know this podcast is going to be amazing. People are like, "Oh, Dave Chappelle's on it, and he's going to be the star." Nah, bro. Like,
Mos Def's a guy.
Mos Def is the fucking guy, right? Like, I was watching
the Galaxy, bro. He's a guy, bro.
Yeah, and I was even watching like an old like black romantic film called Brown Sugar the other day with Sanaa Lathan and Tay Diggs, and like Mos Def is in that as an aspiring rapper, and he's fucking hilarious, bruv. He's too funny, bruv.
He's charming, good looking, and entertaining.
I know.
And it's a real problem.
And shout out Mos Def, yeah. One of the most amazing sort of starstruck moments in my life, and I don't usually get starstruck, was when me and my brothers and a few of my friends went to Madrid. It was probably about 4 years ago. A really sunny weekend in February, which we didn't expect, but it was mad sunny.
Very nice.
We landed on the Friday. We went for like a beer somewhere on some random street. We were just chilling outdoor, having a drink. Mm-hmm. Then I must have been like, I don't know, I was like playing with my phone maybe, or it was something I was fiddling with, and it dropped to the floor. I picked it up, I looked up, Mos Def.
Mad.
He's just there.
Mad.
And I'm literally just like, oh my fucking, you're Mos Def.
It's a black star.
And I literally scare him, like, because very good.
Thank you very much.
And I literally scare him out. You can see I've mortified him because I've scared him just by short.
But you're not much bigger than him as well.
Yeah, exactly, by sheer volume of my voice. But he's also, I can imagine for celebrities, you don't want too much attention.
You're baiting me out.
So he was actually...
Shut up, be cool, bro.
So it was weird because of my reaction, which was very fangirlish, right? He was a little bit startled and then he was kind of just like, yeah, cool. And then he walked off and I was just like, man, never meet your fucking heroes. I was so upset. Because that wasn't
really?
It just wasn't the response. But then it occurred to me as I was drinking my drink, just wondering how I could have dealt with that better. My brothers were like, he's still over there, just chilling. And there was like a little park adjacent to where we were drinking.
Okay.
And it was clear now that he was just like playing ball with like a little kid. He was just there, just chilling. It was like probably 100 yards away. And we were like, oh, wow, maybe he's just here in Madrid. Maybe he's got a tour.
Vibes.
Like we were Googling, like he had a show that weekend. And he'd obviously brought the family in. But he was just chilling there playing ball. And then after like 45 minutes, he came back over and was like, yo, I'm really sorry, man. I know I was a little bit off before. But like, you kind of scare me. But like, I know you guys show love, so I'm just here to show it back. And I was just like, I fucking love you, man.
Iconic.
I fucking love you. Do you know how fucking nice that is, man? He
Yeah,
came
cool
back,
guy.
dapped everyone and said, yo. I think he said something like, I got a show tonight kind of thing. So if you're about, check it out. We couldn't go because we had plans. But like, just a fucking solid guy.
You were too busy for
No,
Mos Def.
there was another reason. We did have plans.
Certain man, a local.
Certain man.
No, we did have plans, but I also think it was a sold out show. So I think maybe one of the guys on the trip actually asked him for some free tickets, but I don't think he was able to swing it.
But you all bottled it at the same time.
But yeah, but like that's my memory of the guy. I fucking love it. Those moments you
great
just never
memory.
forget. It's
It's a
fucking
good story.
amazing.
It's a
great
He was so
memory.
dope.
And now he's doing a podcast.
And now he's doing a podcast, which I'm definitely going to tune into and steal their ideas from. But yeah, check that out as well. I'm also pissed off a little bit more about...
Oh, God. Doing the whole angry black man this week.
No, I'm pissed off. All right, let me ask you, man, a question.
Oh, God.
Do you, man, follow Will Smith on Instagram?
No.
Do you?
I don't, but I know the picture you're talking about.
He's annoying me, bro. I'm not going to lie. Will Smith, for me, is one of the most legendary fucking iconic actors of the newer generation.
Why do you love me, man?
He's great. Right. 20 films of his I love.
Oh, bruv, do you know what?
That was
it's
a heart-wrenching,
bruv, to this day. Why do you love me, man?
heart-wrenching scene.
I mean, just
bruv.
legendary moments.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Are
you about to cry?
I love Will Smith. Well, I loved Will Smith.
It was Uncle Phil.
Gives him the big old
grab
big
man
hug.
into the hug, bro.
Apparently that was all improvised as well.
Yeah,
Like.
it was.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out James Avery, bruv. May he rest in peace.
Rest in peace. But ever since Will Smith joined Instagram, which is a newer thing, by the way, he's only been on Instagram for a couple years.
Okay.
I just feel like he's a bit of a beg.
Oh.
Now,
I mean, he did let his missus slot a rapper.
yeah, we don't even need to talk about the whole Alcina shit. That was wild. And to be honest,
Well, he was
That's
like
another-
a friend to Will as well.
yeah, he's friends with everybody.
We should send
Hold
Will
on,
the
was it-
segment of our
was
it- hold on,
relationship
hold on.
advice.
He was like
Did
playing
Jay-
Jenga upstairs.
Did Jada
with
DM
Jaden.
you? Did Jada DM you that story? Is that what happened?
That's how we got this. It was all an entanglement.
Yes.
He's just a bit of a beg. Like, he's a happy-go-lucky guy. He's got all the money in the world, and he's clearly living an amazing life, right? He's blown more money than I will ever make. right?
Scientology seems to be the way.
Yeah. But what I don't like is just how much he's just like always trying to just engage. There's engagement and then there's over-engagement. Let me cut to the chase. You may have seen, listeners, Will Smith upload a picture of himself saying something along the lines of, "This is the worst condition I have ever been in my life. I'm setting myself a challenge. I'm going to get myself back to my former previous best self."
Okay.
Now, if you see this picture, guys, this is why I am pissed off. Look at this, please. Look at the picture.
Look at this place.
Look at this. Look at this.
What's wrong with him? Yeah, it's dad bod.
He's 52 years old.
It's dad bod.
What do you mean? What are you trying to achieve here? There are people with some real fucking problems, William.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're gonna upload this, yeah, and you're gonna fill up people's minds with hopes and dreams when you've got a friggin' nutritionist, personal trainer,
yeah.
all the hours in the day in between shooting films.
Yeah.
You ain't living a real life, my G.
Yeah.
If you turn that around and you look like friggin' Dwayne Johnson at the end of it, am I meant to give you ratings?
Yeah, look, am
I meant to give you ratings?
he's
That
clearly
being
not.
said, that guy from Big Bang Theory, when he got wedged, I dapped him.
Which one?
Who?
The
Sheldon.
Asian.
Did
bro.
Sheldon get buff?
Have you not seen the Asian guy?
No. I mean,
No.
can I just say,
not Big Bang? Wow, that was racist.
you're hella racist.
That
But
was
can I just say,
racist.
Big Bang Theory
That was
is the
racist.
worst TV show of all time.
Genuinely racist.
horrible.
It's the worst TV. It's
horrible.
It's even less funny than Friends, and I don't care if that loses me followers.
It was Silicon Valley, the Asian bro from Silicon
Oh,
Valley.
I've heard about this.
I haven't watched that yet.
So it's good. It's funny. But he plays the same kind of dweeby Asian bred from the other guy plays from Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of character. He is now Wedge.
Oh, I swear.
Like he's
I've heard something
filming,
about
But he's
actually.
rich.
So it's the same thing like you said. He's filming some Marvel film. The Marvel guys set him up with a nutritionist and some personal trainer for a year. So it was a 1 year transformation. But if you Google him and you see the before and after, and obviously there's going to be a bunch of, Mexican supplements, let's call them.
Yes.
But regardless,
this
it
is-
is impressive.
This is the best. This is what he said. This is the body that carried me through an entire pandemic and countless days grazing through the pantry. I love this body, but I want to feel, capital letters, better. No more midnight muffins. This is it. I'ma get in the best shape of my life. Teaming up with YouTube, of course,
Oh, obviously.
to get my health and wellness back on track. Hope it works.
Yo, look,
Fuck's sake, man.
I just want to say
Will
something.
is so annoying.
As Caitlyn Jenner outlined in a Fox interview this week,
Oh, no.
one of her neighbors has kind of like consoled in her that given the prevalence of homeless people in the state of California, her neighbor's considering selling the hangar in which they house their private aircraft opposite Caitlyn Jenner's and moving to Arizona. And it's kind of, there's a trend developing of extremely rich Hollywood celebrities really being in touch with what people are going through. So if Will Smith feels like he's been eating too many muffins during this pandemic, we really should be accommodative for his mental health, for his well-being.
But Johnny,
and I care. I hope he does well for himself.
there are men our age who don't look like that.
I mean, he looks better than I do. He looks better
He's
than I do.
52.
He's no light-skinned Terry Crews, but he's doing better than Lawrence Fishburne. So I think he should probably just
The
take
other thing
that.
that's worth noting, by the way, is it's all self-motivation, right?
Don't care.
Because realistically, like you said, more super rich, done everything he needs to do, married, whatever the status will carry him through the rest if we believe the open relationship chat.
Oh, that's happening.
And if it, so,
I need to get in on that.
What's he's just doing it for himself, basically, which is commendable. Then I guess at that stage, if you look at, I get what you're saying. It is a bit beggy. All his Instagram, when he joined Instagram, the reason that they were all loving it is because it was super high production value, right?
Yeah.
So he had like a team
Yes.
producing the videos
Yes.
and da da da. So he put some serious effort into it. So I get that part goes against the kind of whatever. Let's forget
Organic
that. Yeah, the kind of-
DIY Instagram feel.
Two twos. If I had two,
But
if I had
regardless, he's Will Smith. He doesn't need a six-pack.
But two twos. If I had two fucking weird kids and my missus was smashing my mate, I would probably want to hit the gym as well. So in that context, I can understand it.
Yo, free will, man. Free the kid
Free
will.
Willy.
Free Willy, man. So basically, my slight annoyance towards Will is possibly misplaced.
Maybe, yeah.
Possibly.
Okay, that's fair.
It's
That's
just
fair.
hashtag angry black man.
That's fair.
Jada's fault.
This is a safe place. I appreciate your honesty.
Can I say one thing before we round off this episode?
No, I'm joking.
It's quite a serious one. It's quite a serious one.
Oh, shit.
I just wanted to send solidarity to the people of Colombia.
Don't know.
Viva Colombia, viva la República, viva el pueblo colombiano. What's been going on in Colombia is awful. To catch people up with what's been happening, the government tried to impose a tax increase and a removal of certain benefits that largely impacted the poorest towards the lower middle class in Colombia. That caused protests by, largely initially organized by trade unions, but was later joined by the middle classes who feared being dragged into poverty by the imposition of these taxes. That then spread to wider protests after the original bill was reduced against ongoing police violence, murders of various women around the country, and as all fucking shitty right-wing governments did, and do. In the name of national security, the government of Colombia called essentially for martial law, put the army on the streets, and increased police powers to deal with what was essentially peaceful protest. The people of Colombia are under attack from their own police forces, from their own army forces, for demonstrating for basic rights, and it's absolutely awful. Like I said, solidarity with the people of Colombia, solidarity with the movement against this right-wing government in Colombia, and much like the problems that we have in Venezuela, Latin America needs its local movements, it needs its organization. It has a long, successful history of union organization, trade union movements, organizing for the betterment of people. I hope that continues in Colombia, but I really hope that people are safe, get home well.
Amen,
and the situation in Colombia sorts itself out.
Amen. Well said, brother. Well said. Prayers and thoughts with everybody.
Hasta la victoria siempre.
What the man them said.
Give it a go, go on.
One more time.
Hasta.
Just say the whole thing, bro.
Hasta la victoria
I'm trying
siempre.
to feel me into it one word at a time. Fucking hell, bro. One more time.
Hasta la victoria siempre.
Hasta la victoria la siempre.
Oh yeah, almost.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even really feel like playing White Guy Summer after this now.
Yeah, a bit of a downer.
You, Johnny.
I mean, Chet could be Latino.
I think it's in there somewhere.
I'll be the segue from Latino chat to white boys.
Hey.
The thing is, I don't think that works because in 2021 we can identify as anything we want to be.
That's how we're getting on the trip. That's how we're getting on the trip. We identify as white. What?
What was her name?
What?
What was her name? Tracy Dobazole or whatever.
Rachel Dazil, yeah.
She was the first one.
Yes.
What would your name be?
Pioneer.
What would your name
What
be?
would my name
What's
be?
your white name?
What's your white name?
I think we definitely have to go with one of the names we named earlier, the ones that are dying, like Malcolm.
I got one.
What's yours?
Alistair.
What's surname? Give me a surname.
Stewart.
Alistair Stewart. That's pretty white, to be fair.
That's super white. That sounds rich, though.
I would go Roger Stevens.
Yeah,
You wouldn't even have to change your name. I don't understand why you're playing this game.
Alistair Downey.
Alistair Downey. You gone Scottish?
Is that Scottish?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Fuck it.
Get your accent out.
Or you could be like a
Not after yours. Not after yours. No. I'm never doing Scottish again.
You could do like a Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald.
Okay.
Alistair Fitzgerald.
The young Irish.
Okay.
The whole Fitz thing means it's illegitimate, right?
Yeah.
Does it?
I think that's what it is. The Fitz thing means that like it's something. Well, unless I'm just talking out my ass.
I never heard of that. It might be true.
That would be a
I
first.
think that's what it means. Yeah, it would be a first.
But yeah, to round off properly, catch us here every other week.
Yes.
Bi-weekly.
Yes. That means every 2 weeks.
Every
just in
2
case.
weeks.
Could go either way.
Yeah, because apparently bi-weekly
go either way,
means
yeah.
bi-weekly apparently means twice a week,
yeah.
or
No, it could
every
be
other
either.
week.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No,
So
we're here
we
every
say
2 weeks.
we say fortnightly.
Yes.
We are here fortnightly.
Yes.
Every Tuesday.
Yeah, every other Tuesday.
What did I say?
You said every Tuesday.
Fucking hell. Every other Tuesday,
Correct.
because that's what fortnightly means, rude boy.
Yes.
We're on Apple Podcasts, rude boy. Spotify, rude boy.
Yes.
YouTube, rude boy. And if you want to know why you should be listening to us, it's because we spit hot shit. Dylan.
That's what's up.